Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is KangaRuthless, and I'm bringing you another StarCraft 2 commentary. This time it's going to be a Terran versus Zerg on the map Belshir Beach. Let's go and introduce the two players here. Spawning in the bottom right will be our green Terran. His name is DoomDash, and he is a master Terran, has been around the StarCraftCentral.net forums for quite some time. And his opponent this game will be yours truly, Kanga's Khan, spawning in the top left position as the purple Zerg. I'm usually the green Zerg, but DoomDash decided to make these games, and he got to choose the color first, obviously. So he took my favorite color. That's not cool. But yeah, let me go with a little bit of background about us two players. Now, DoomDash and I played a couple of games. I probably put between 15 and 20 games in the past. And he's been one of those master Terrans that's always just been really good, especially at TVZ. And so, naturally, I haven't even... Yeah, I mean, he has a very impressive record against me. I don't think I've actually won a game against him. So this game was going to be pretty interesting because he's been gone for 6 months without playing StarCraft. He just came back. He's actually complaining there about how cold it is up in wherever he's from. I think it's up north somewhere. And he has no heat, so it's really hard, by the way, guys, to play StarCraft or any sort of RTS game, which is all about finesse and fluidity when your hands are freezing to the bone. So I do scout a refinery before barracks, and that's kind of suspicious there, so I'm kind of scouting around the map and seeing if there's any sort of like proxy being built somewhere, like maybe a Rax and then a factory down here or something. But once I see that there's a barracks right here, I mean, that is pretty indicative of a Hellion expand opener. Now meanwhile, I'm going for a 15 hatch on this map. I think that all Zerg should. Always 15 hatch against Terran. I barely get that down before he can try and block it, so really good timing there. And it's really just a lucky break for me. But, you know, let's talk about this map a little bit. I'm sending out my overlords to cover this expansion to watch for bunker placement. This overlord, by the way, is moving straight for this little thing right here, this little pylon, I guess you could call it, this little tower. When you get there, units on the ground cannot see it unless you lift up a building to view it. So, it's actually a really good place to scout, to see what's going on, and if Terran doesn't lift up a building or use a scan or get a flying unit, he'll never see it. But anyways, we do have a pull and then gas going down for me, and we have DoomDash just kind of controlling around the map. I have my drones finally returning to base to start mining again. I just wanted to be making sure that there was no shenaniganery going on, and this overlord's going to scout a reactor going down here, so it's going to be very much a Hellion expand. Now, with Hellion expands, I've been having the worst problem with these because I'll just straight up die to Hellions. And it's kind of the most embarrassing thing is when like 4 or 6 Hellions kill you. And you just think, I survive. Marine Marauder, Medevac pushes, I survive. Tank Marine pushes. Why is it that a handful of Hellions are just giving me so much grief? So in this game I'll show you guys sort of a new opener I'm trying here. It's called the 4 Queen opener. So I'm getting my queens as soon as possible, just mining enough gas to get that speed. I actually probably don't even need speed, but I think having that gas is just sort of a security blanket if you'll have it that. So the first queen pops out, immediately making 2 overlords since this guy's going to go down. He did lift that barracks and scout it. And, you know, at this point I know it's going to be Hellions. So as soon as these 2 extra overlords pop, I'm going to go ahead and get more queens out here. Now what you do with your first queen obviously is inject. Your second queen, I like to go ahead and lay down a creep timber. Just getting that creep spread out really early makes it pretty hard for Terrans to navigate around your base. So this is pretty much anti-Hellion defense right here, but it's also anti-Banshee defense. Now, this little drone right here, he's actually going to throw down a spine crawler. I like this. Well, I did it, and that's why I like it, but it's also to help, you know, any sort of prod or pressure he might make with some Hellions or with a couple of Marines. So the first Hellion is out on the map for DoomDash. We see 2 more queens coming down as well as speed. That spine's about to finish here shortly. And so this little poke right here won't really get much accomplished. I have my queens in pretty good position here. I'm just trying to block so the Hellions can't run all the way into my base. That's not what I want. But now that I see he's kind of committing to the right side, I'm going to send my queens over to start shooting away at these Hellions. Notice there's not many drones over here, and I don't want to have that many drones over here until I can make sure that Hellions just can't run up in my base. Now, Spine's not positioned great, but again, I just want to make sure that he can't run over here. So sort of to zone out the Hellions more than take any stabs at him. So now that I have 2 queens up here, I can go back to droning up, which is what I will do. Also making a bunch of overlords because I'm supply locked and I can't macro. But that was pretty much held off, and you know the game kind of goes to normal from there. So, oh, another misrallied Hellion. You never want these to happen, and notice I never engaged in my Zerglings. I'm just dancing them around, and I'm trying to get some scouting information done, but I see that he still has his Hellions down there. I can't really move out with my Zerglings until I get rid of those Hellions. So just droning up at this point in time. But the Hellions are down here to pretty much slow down the creep spread. So meanwhile, DoomDash does have his second orbital made. He's going into 3 barracks with a factory, going for that siege tank production, and he's immediately throwing down 2 bunkers here. This is pretty smart, because a roachling all in will kill you if you don't have tanks in time and if you don't have your bunkers up. I mean, even if you have a bunker up and Zerg's able to kill this off and then, you know, sneak units in, I mean, he can either kill you or put you behind significantly. So DoomDash is doing a pretty safe build here. As well, I think I'm doing a pretty safe build here as well. I have my queens down here trying to aggro some of these Hellions, trying to get them to move up a little farther than they would like to do. So actually, this Hellion right here will not be so fortunate that he will get picked off. And so now DoomDash is down to 3 Hellions. But let's look at the income tab. It is 36 to 28 right now. I am getting down my second gas. And the 3rd and 4th are on the way as well. So at this point, I'm starting to get up there in minerals. Now is actually a good time to start making your macro hatchery. If you don't feel safe expanding, go ahead and throw down a macro hatch. Just keep your money as low as possible. As you can see, it's getting up there really high because I have so many drones. So this is what sort of pushes Zergs out there to maybe expand more. And I felt like maybe if I'd expanded a little bit faster, I would have done a little bit better this game. But anyways, it is what it is. I am just banking so many minerals right now, and this is because of this ridiculous income I have. I don't really know what to do with all these drones. 12 more drones on the way, actually. And I mean, by the end of this, I'm just going to be so far ahead economically. I mean, even if I take a delayed 3rd, I should be just fine. So, again, 12 drones are on the way. Income tab now is at 55 to 36. So this is pretty much where you want to be as Zerg. You just want to throw down a macro hatch a little bit sooner and expand a little bit, a lot sooner, really. But the +1 is on the way here for the Zergling melee attacks. We do have these 2 spines out front here just to make sure that he can't siege up tanks right here and marines. It'll make it a little bit more difficult for him. But I want to point out something that I really try to make a focus and emphasis on this game, and that's creep spread. Notice these creep tumors are all over the place. And, you know, when I'm not trying to defend the Hellions here from killing off my creep tumors, I am laying down more over here. I just basically want to keep one area of the map as mine, and basically start to slow down any pushes that he might want to do. So DoomDash right here is trying to figure out where the creep tumor is by shooting his own Hellion. The splash damage will kill that creep tumor if he gets close enough to it. But he's unfortunately not going to be able to do that. So it was just here, I'm like at 2,000 minerals, guys. This is why you need to expand a lot faster and just start making lots of units. So, I mean, my minerals are just insanely high right now. I could probably throw down a 2nd evolution chamber. Probably go up to like another hatchery as well, but I am finally going to expand to the top. It's just a really delayed hatchery there. And I'm kind of being wary about this. I know that DoomDash is going to have a tank marine force coming. I just played him so many times. I know this is exactly the style he does. He even has these turrets up in pretty good time. I mean, if I had done my layer timing correctly, I would have had mutas about right now, and I wouldn't be sitting at like 2,000 minerals. That's just what happens when Zerg's allowed to drone up as much as he wants. So we do have an Overseer here in the making, and Overseers are just nice to have along with your army. Just in case for anything, you know, you can actually just send changelings in with the army, or just do whatever. It's always nice to have them, just in case he goes for Cloak Banshee or something. Zergling's running around just checking for expansions here. This is another place to kind of hide a Zergling, in case your Terran opponent tries to expand there. Seeing an expansion. I'm going to see there's no 3rd here, and that actually my opponent is going to be making a command center now. This is kind of one of those times when you just think, okay, the push has to be coming, because, you know, the push hasn't come yet, so I'm a little bit surprised. But the Spire has completed, by the way. Immediately making 2 Overlords, because I will become supply locked very shortly here if I do not make Overlords at this point. And just making as many units as I can right now. I think my income tab, my harvester count is like at 60, 50-ish, 60. So it's, you know, it's pretty good. It's pretty much where I want it to be. But anyways, I think the real story here again is these creep tumors. So not doing the best job on macro. I mean, that's way too high. But I mean, just the fact that I can push out the creep that far, it's going to slow down any push that was going to try and come that way. So unfortunately, 2 Hellions aren't able to kill creep tumors quite as fast as they would want. Mutas are going to come in and chase away these Hellions, and with that I'll be able to spread the creep again. And once I start spreading that, I'm pretty sure to send one of these queens over to this expansion. I should go ahead and grab my 4th as well, or maybe grab a secluded 4th. But the mutants are going to come into the base. Now, this is one of those situations. This is kind of a mistake. I'm losing 2 mutants right here. Another 2 mutants are getting heavily damaged. 1 more going down. And really all I did was pick off a reactor. And I'm going to pick off one of these supply depots, and it's going to put it back significantly supply-wise, but I mean, it wasn't really worth 5 mutas. Probably not. It was more or less, there was more or less a mistake on my part. But anyways, we do see 32 Zerglings in production. We had the 4th up, and now I can start transferring some drones. This is a bit oversaturated. I could be sending some more drones over, as well as I need to take another expansion and throw down another hatchery. This will just allow me to ramp out units non-stop. Now again, with any build where you start making tier 2 units or roaches, you want to start making lots of overlords. See, there are 5 overlords on the way right now because I got supply locked. Throwing down an evolution chamber because I got supply locked. So whenever you can't make units, it's just, in that time, what else are you going to do but maybe start teching? I mean, obviously in a perfect world you would never get supply locked, but unfortunately this is the problem with being a platinum Zerg. You get supply locked a lot because you don't know how to macro. So this right here from DoomDash is kind of crazy. I mean, he has siege tanks, he has stem. I don't believe he has combat shields yet. No, he does not. And he only has 1-1, and he's pushing out here onto a lot of creep. But these tanks are going to kill off a lot of these creep timbers, so really nice scan by DoomDash. But unfortunately, the creep is just so far out. I'm still going to have a bit left over, and he didn't get the creep over here. So it's going to be a little bit difficult for him to deal with that. I'm waiting on my centrifugal hooks for my banelings to finish before I decide to engage this force. Kind of falling behind on the armor upgrades here. And really, you just have to find the perfect time to engage this. If you engage way too soon, you're in trouble. If you engage way too late, you're in trouble. But waiting for these tanks to unsiege, it's actually not a bad idea. And that would have been a pretty good time to hit, but I was a little bit scared there. I wasn't really sure if I wanted to quite engage yet or commit. But now that I have all these Zerglings out here, I'm just thinking, well, I have a lot, and these Marines are coming up and just, thinking, okay, screw it, I'm going to go ahead and kill everything here. If I can kill a majority of these Marines, my units can take care of the rest. And that is exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to wipe out this entire army. So it's a pretty good pickup there by me, but again, not the best control. I mean, we're pretty much knocked back to the Stone Age, even though I have a decent supply lead. So this 3rd that's going to try and go down here, it's not going to happen. All these Mutalisks and all these Banelings and Mutalisks and Zerglings are just going to take it out. Kind of a waste of Banelings there, but what are you going to do? And now's about the time when I want to start hitting my injects and macroing back up, but maybe taking a 4th right here would be pretty smart as well. So I'm going to see this Marine ball push out, and I've delayed the 3rd, so now's a good time to throw down your 4th, maybe throw down a 5th as well, and tech maybe to Hive. I mean, literally, he's not going to have that much, so I'm actually throwing down my Infestation Pit now. I am planning on teching to Hive, and I'm doing a transfer of drones. I know I'm way oversaturated here, and I mean, really at this point in time, I need to throw down a 4th, and so that's what I'm going to do right now. It's a little bit late, but I mean, at the same time, I just feel like this creep has just helped out so much in so many ways. It's really given me the confidence really to push out, to engage these tank Marine forces, and the Terran doesn't really ever feel like he's safe. When he sees that much creep, it's really scary for Terran. As you can see here, he's way oversaturated on this base right here. He can't really expand. It's just really cutting into his production that I delayed that 3rd. So a little bit of a mistake there from DoomDash, just not having that secured and losing all his forces there. Never good. I mean, he was really counting on that 3rd base to kick in for this production here. Now he's got to play defensively. So now really, when your Terran opponent has to play defensively like this, you should expand all over the place. Unfortunately, these spines are not in any position to kill drones, so I'm going to have to run them away. Losing about 5 drones there, that is pretty unfortunate. But now I'm running back in with my Mutalisks and Zerglings to go and take care of the rest of this. Hive is on the way, as well as pathogen glands. And I'm throwing down my 4th base. But now would be a really good time. I just killed off a dropship, throw down a 5th. I mean, why not? I already have creep all the way over here. Throw down a 5th, and maybe even take this base as well. Kill off these Hellions, take this base. You already have creep over here. I mean, why not? Hellions, again, here just trying to take out whatever they can, trying to pick off creep timbers, but I don't really agree with this with just 2 Hellions. I feel like you could kill a lot more with, you could just kill a lot more, if you just maybe added 1 or 2 Marines in that little ball. Now this hatchery is under attack, and here's the problem that DoomDash is going to run into here, is that he's a little bit out of position with his tanks. So if he picks off this hatchery, it's huge, but unfortunately I just have too many Lings, and they're going to be able to get a nice round on all the units here and pick off all the Marines. Now this, guys, was me forgetting that I had shift-clicked these Banelings. So that totally happened. And it's pretty embarrassing, but, yeah, it's pretty sloppy for me. I know, it's very sloppy. Mutalus are going to pick off the rest of these dropships, and now we're pretty much tied at supply, but the difference is I can make whatever I want, and DoomDash, unfortunately, is just kind of in a really tough spot here. Mutalus are going to finally pick off these Hellions, and now I should take this base. I'm doing really good macro-wise, but I just need more bases. I need more income, really. So doing another transfer of workers. I already have that hive down, so I'm wondering when I'm going to start on my Greater Spire, or at least get my hive upgrades. +3 and +2 would be really good about right now, as well as that, what do you call it, adrenal glands. So adrenalings, that's what Artosis called them, and I actually kind of like that name. So adrenalings would be really good right here. Again, making another round of mutas. I'm not sure if this is the right call. I'm kind of preparing for another huge push to come out, because, I don't know, I just feel like every time I kill a Terran force, he's just going to reinforce it and go and try and kill it again. So it's being just really paranoid. Need to do a worker transfer like really bad. This is way undersaturated. This is way oversaturated, and I need to expand. But I'm just content on staying on 4 base, and this is problematic because you'll see here in a minute that I'll want to have gas, and I won't be able to afford it. I won't have the gas that I wish I had. See here, I'm keeping my gas relatively low. I was finally able to spend all my minerals that I had, but I could have just done this a much better way. So anyways, DoomDash is trying to pull back this creep. He's starting to take a very defensive position with these turrets. I would really like for him to have a sensor tower, maybe. A sensor tower would be pretty nice to have, maybe right here. And here goes another drop from DoomDash. He's thinking about going to the left side, but he decides to go to the right. Unfortunately, my mutas know where all these turrets are, so they're actually going to get really lucky and intercept this. This was not planned at all. Just happened to find a full dropship, and I end up killing off the dropship with 6 Marines. So losing 1 Mutalist to that, not a bad trade at all. Meanwhile, he can't grab a base here. There's too much creep here, and the creep's starting to get to, pretty much to the point where it's almost in his ramp. So really, Terran's got to be feeling, so scared right now. I mean, I would just be frightened if I were Terran. And we do have a couple of corruptors on the way. My Greater Spire has completed, and I do have adrenal glands on the way as well as +2 and +3. So again, taking another base right here would be such a good idea, or actually right here would probably be the best place to take a base, because I'm going to have a much stronger army than he is. He's not going to feel he's not going to feel good engaging me, and I feel like I'd be able to defend that a lot easier. As well, this unit positioning right here, maybe keep a couple of Lings and Banelings back over here to prevent any sort of stem run by or stem drop, but the rest of these forces really need to be out over here controlling this watchtower. So a little bit of a mistake on unit positioning there from me, but DoomDash is actually on Siege's tanks. He has a couple of Marines here, and he's going to push out. Meanwhile, he's taking his 4th, and this is kind of scary for DoomDash because he knows I can see it. So, of course, he needs to attack right here to kind of force back my units. But here come out the Broodlords, and this is the part where things are just going to go downhill for DoomDash. So, I don't quite have my units on different control groups yet. As you can see here, I have my Mutalists on control group 3. Everything else is just kind of boxed into one. And there we go. So now I can start controlling these units a lot easier. So once you get to the mid-late game, you really need control groups. I mean, if you didn't use it before, you really do now. So I'm just going to let my Broodlord start tanking away at all of these missile turrets. There's absolutely no way that DoomDash is prepared for this. I mean, he's frantically making Vikings. He can barely afford anything right now. He just doesn't have the mineral income he would like. And really, it's until this base gets up and running, which now it does. This will breathe new blood into the Terran economy. But meanwhile, these Vikings are doing some significant damage to my Broodlords. I'm not doing the best job at trying to save them, so I'm losing a couple of Broodlords unnecessarily. And now this is really hard for Terrans to deal with, but I want you to notice, Mutalisk is coming in, sniping all these Vikings, keeping my Mutalisk very useful, maintaining their usefulness, going to snipe this planetary, and right now I could be making more Corruptors if I really want to engage this. Maybe make a couple Infestors would probably be the best choice here since he's committing so much into Vikings and Marines. And so now the Marines are going to stem up and kill off a Broodlord, but at the same time, here come the Mutas, the Lings, and the Banelings going to chase the army way back, and it's going to start crushing this base. Marines are stuck. They're going to get Baneling to death. Oh my god, nothing survives. This planetary going down. DoomDash now has almost no income. And the only reason why he has income is because Terran has mules and has this fourth. But I mean, this base is mined out. He can't transfer his SCVs because I'm just kind of sitting out here, camped out here. It's 185 supply to 77. DoomDash is kind of dead. And I mean, there's a lot of ways I could have played this game a lot better, a lot more smoothly. But I feel like the things that really killed off DoomDash were that creep spread. I just don't feel like he was able to really halt that creep spread. I was able to macro up. He just didn't put on enough pressure early enough in the game to make it count. This is Meatless is still just being really annoying and starting to kill off a lot of these Vikings. But I think they're going to go down here shortly. And now that they go down, now's the time I just want to run in with all my Zerglings, kill a lot of these, just kill everything. I mean, it's pretty much GG from here. Trying to do a liftoff, that's some QC trick right there, but it doesn't really matter. I have lots of Corruptors on the way, which I can morph into Broodlords. So these are Adrenalings. They are at 3-3, well, at 3-2 actually, but it doesn't matter. Look how fast they kill buildings. This is so terribly fast. DoomDash does not have any income whatsoever, and I can just keep throwing wings at him. So I mean, at this point, DoomDash knows this up, and he's going to go ahead and just wait for it. Gives a GG, well played. And that'll do it for the game, guys. That was my first ever win against Doom. I'm pretty proud of that. He's a very solid player. And again, I think, you know, expansion timings were super late. They could have been a lot smoother. Upgrade timings were a little bit behind, but creep spread, man. Creep spread is what won me the game there, and that's I'm gonna stick right to that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the cast. I hope you guys maybe got some insight into how the matchup works. And if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, arguments, whatever, be sure to send them away. Be sure to rate, subscribe, comment, favorite. And I've been your caster as always, KangaRuthless. Thanks again for DoomDash for agreeing to let me cast this. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.